Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Rally webinar on why stories of your people are key to more talent engagement. I'm Sylvia with Rally Recruitment Marketing, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today. I know that all of you in the Rally community are going through tremendous recruiting challenges right now. So this webinar is designed to bring you some specific strategies that you can put to use right away. This webinar is part of our how-to series, and it's just 30 minutes long and features one of our sponsors to help us learn how to implement a recruitment marketing strategy. And today we're featuring Stories Incorporated, and I want to thank them for their sponsorship of this webinar and their support of the Rally community and for helping us to bring educational webinars and resources like these to you. All right, so let me introduce today's speaker. With me today is Jessica McFadden with Stories Incorporated. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, so happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, for your support of the Rally community. I consider you guys to be real experts when it comes to employee stories and just storytelling in general and how to apply these strategies in recruitment marketing. So I know that you're going to teach us some really useful things that we can use in our strategies. Why don't you just introduce yourself briefly and then tell everyone a little bit about Stories who may not know much about the company?
Sure. So, hi, I'm Jessica. I'm the head of marketing at Stories Incorporated. I'm a lifelong marketer with a content marketing and video communications focus. I've worked with agencies, media companies, and in-house for leading companies, and I've been with Stories Inc. for over 2 years now. And at Stories, now I get to combine all those different hats that I wore in different places. So Stories Incorporated is an employer branding, recruitment marketing, and culture content agency and studio. So at Stories Inc., we help our clients uncover the powerful stories their people have to tell. Then we bring those stories to life through compelling videos, blogs, photography, graphics, social content, and more engaging media. So as you can see from these logos here or happening here, we help some of the world's leading employer brands and emerging cultures too. So not just the big guys. And we use employee storytelling to connect with candidates, existing employees, customers, and target audiences. Our net promoter score is 100, and we're really proud of that because we deliver for our clients. So the way we deliver is through our methodology. So at Stories Inc., we're experts in expert employee interviews that really uncover substantive employee stories that really show culture. Then we connect their stories to the company values, purpose, mission, etc. And then we create gorgeous, compelling media that connects with candidates and drives their actions. So we're really passionate about effective and excellent recruitment marketing and culture content and providing candidates with exactly the proof of culture and employee experience that they're looking for.
Excellent. All right. Well, here's what you all are going to learn from today's webinar and listening to Jessica and some of the examples that she's going to share with you today. So you'll hear data on why employee stories are so important to your strategy. I think instinctually we all know that it is, but we actually have data to share with you that proves why this is really critical for your strategy. You'll see real examples of the type of content that works right now, and we'll cover compilation stories, standalone stories, as well as team storytelling. And you'll hear pro tips on where and how to use these stories once you have them. Plus, we do have time, I hope, at the end for live Q&A with Jessica and myself. So if you have any questions during today's webinar, you can type them into the Zoom bar on your screen and the Q&A tab. And Erin from the Rally team is there. So if you need any help during the webinar or you have a question that you want to ask the speakers, you just queue that up in the Q&A tab, and Erin will get those to us. All right, so let's jump in, Jessica. Tell us more about the data that you're seeing? And I know that like actually this data, a lot of it comes from Rally Inside, but it's interesting for me to like hear you and interpret the data that we're seeing from our new analytics and benchmarking platform.
Well, it was so incredible when you released that data just a month ago, a month and a half ago. That really validated what we do. And so that was so exciting to us. And that's why I thought, oh, that's what we should talk about in the webinar, because it really does, show the proof of what we're doing and how effective it is for candidates. So I was blown away, and all of the team at Stories Inc. were blown away by the Rally Insight data that you released at the beginning of 2022. It was significant data-backed findings, and it was that employers are promoting so many jobs right now in the Great Resignation, this big talent tidal wave, and they're promoting all these jobs and more frequently, but candidates are responding to them less. However, stories of people in your company, employees, leadership, hiring managers, are receiving double the engagement they were compared to Q4 2021. So before the holidays, that stories, culture content is getting so much more engagement. So that is what people should be posting now. If you want to cut through the noise and connect with the candidates, you're going to need to capture stories and share them with those candidates that are looking for jobs. So engagement with culture content in particular was up 174% compared to the end of 2021, according to Rally Inside. And in fact, when you compare culture and stories content to jobs content, the stories got 200% more engagement, and the jobs content engagement was down 62%.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little excited by all of that.
I'm excited too, because it's like for the first time we have actual data that helps us justify the strategies that we know should work and are working, and we can share that with our leadership of why we need to invest in these strategies. And so just for everyone who doesn't know, when we say Rally Inside, that's our new analytics and benchmarking tool for recruitment marketing. And the data that we published comes from the employers who are using that tool for over a year now. So we can start to see what kind of content are they publishing to try to attract and engage and recruit talent, and how that is shifting as the hiring market shifts. So engagement with jobs content is down. Engagement with people in company content is up.
Absolutely. And that's something that we're really passionate about, because we do believe that, employee stories are the most engaging content and the best content, period. The reason why is stories from real employees give you a real look inside your culture. Employees are the most believable spokespeople that you can get. And stories provide candidates with, those trustworthy voices, but they're also a delivery mechanism that helps people remember and find their words even that much more believable. They prove your corporate statements and they bring them to life. So you can have your value statement and all of that beautiful copy. And as a copywriter, I really love copy too. But rather than just having words on your webpage, you can have someone sharing their personal connection to those words. And they show how your employee experience has evolved, which is really important right now to capture, right now employee experience stories, because things have changed so dramatically in such a relatively short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Great point. So, all right, the data tells us that what works is employee stories, people-focused stories. So let's look at what some of that content is that is driving that engagement, and look at the different types of stories that we should be creating at our company. And then I know we're going to show what that looks like when we use that in our recruitment marketing. So let's start with compilation stories, Jessica.
So compilation stories are what you think of when you think of your classic company culture video. Compilation stories feature multiple employee storytellers, and together those voices give an overview of an organization's real culture. So we have a clip of the global company culture video that we developed for Dell Technologies, and it's entitled Life at Dell.
All right, I'm going to switch over. Let's see. Tell me if you can see my screen now with the video.
Yes.
Yes. All right, great. So I'm gonna play just about 2 minutes of this so you guys can see what effective storytelling looks like.
We have that culture that we embrace diversity and inclusion in the real day-to-day. It's not like we just say it, we live in it.
There's 13 employee resource groups. Any special interest, anything that is pertinent in your life, there's probably an ERG for it.
I was awarded the Co-Site Leadership Award for Employee Resource Group of the Year. And it was awarded by Michael Dell himself. I just can't describe how rewarding that felt.
We have over 100,000 really impassioned employees who give back to their communities, who are part of their local organizations, and that collectively has a huge impact on the communities in which we live and work.
I always tell people that Dell Technologies really values its people. Like, I feel so valued as a human being. My personal life never has to be put on the line.
Dell Technology has a connected workplace program where you can actually work from home with the same environment that if you're in an office.
There is nobody in my 15 years who's told me you have to be in office from 9 to 6. You know exactly what needs to be done on a priority basis today, tomorrow. My father was very ill and he needed that constant care. My mom had passed away 2 years ago, so my dad was really lonely. My boss said, go take care of your father. Family comes first. I called up my boss and I told him, thank you. You have absolutely no idea what that means to me.
Our company, Dell Technologies.
Wow. Okay, I'm back on the slides. Tell me if you can see the slides. Are you good?
Yes.
Yes. I want to make one comment about that video and also like the style of the production that you guys do at Stories Incorporated, where we know that there's this trend to having employees capture their own videos and I know you do that too, but like even when you're doing kind of the staged shoot, interviewing somebody, like it just feels like they're just talking. So yeah, I can see why it feels so authentic to a candidate to hear employees talking by telling stories.
Oh, we really try hard to help our employee storytellers feel comfortable, and so that we can really get the emotional connection, the reality, so that when the candidate can, experience those stories, they feel like they know their future coworker, and that's the ideal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we thought it would be helpful to show you, not just like a great example, because that is a really beautiful example of the videos that we can make and the different types of stories that you can capture, but also how the companies are using it and putting it into practice. So Dell uses that video. It's a longer video. It's a very, we have different versions of that optimized per channel, but they use the long form of that as their premier culture content, their premier life at content to show their global culture. They use it when you go to their Glassdoor page. It's embedded right in the header, above the scroll. And it's the first thing that people who come to Glassdoor can play and see. It auto plays when you go to Dell Technologies YouTube channel. It's the first thing. It starts playing with that beautiful music. And when you go to LinkedIn, another place that it's featured of the variety of places they use it, when they candidates click that life section of their corporate page, it's the first thing that you come across too. So, and of course, all of those different stories were used in lots of different ways, but that's just kind of the big kahuna of the content that we created.
Great. So lots of places where you can use this content, even if your talent audience, for example, is on Facebook, pin this post. Like there's lots of places where once you have this content, you can really use it and attract talent to your careers instead of just only promoting the jobs that you have available.
Oh, absolutely. So we've been working with Dell Technologies nonstop since 2016. We're their go-to employee stories content partner. As you can see from the different types of content and the different types of stories that we've captured for them, we provide extensive culture content for multiple recruitment marketing initiatives, types of businesses, their content types, and their different communications channels. All of these different talent needs and recruitment marketing needs can be served so well by stories from the employees.
Mm-hmm.
And we interviewed many employees for that global life at Dell. I think that we interviewed, I can't remember the exact number. I think it was around 75. And my colleague, Anna Lippy, she traveled literally all over the world, along with Christian, our head video editor, to capture those stories from Dell globally. But from every interviewee that Anna connected with and Christian captured, we received so many stories. So you can see from this example right here from Sumana, one employee interview can get you so many different stories of your real culture from that real employee. And then all those different stories can be used in so many different content channels and different communication needs that you have. So Sumana's story was used globally to show how women in tech at Dell are connected all over the world. She also is part of the diversity and inclusion content because she talked about diversity and inclusion and how she personally experiences that at Dell. She also is one of the lead storytellers of the content we created for their India office to show how that local culture is experienced. And then she also was part of the innovation Making Progress Real themed video to connect with candidates in that track as well. So every time we interview someone, there is so much that can go into it for different, tabs on your career site, for your different social channels. It's just from just one interview, you can get a wealth of content.
Yeah, you're really building a content library, really, that you can use like for months, maybe even years to come.
Absolutely. So from that one individual, employee interview, sometimes getting a standalone story, a piece of content where there's just one employee storyteller, can be the most effective way to connect with candidates because they get to go deep and really connect with that storyteller. So here's an example of one we captured from Erica, who is one of the mid-level managers at Philips. And so we'll let her tell her story.
Okay, great. All right, I'm switching over again. Can you see the video?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great.
When I started in Philips, Hurricane Maria hit the Puerto Rico island, and it was a devastating hurricane for us. I remember driving up to the north of the island to be able to try to get some cell signal to let my boss know that I was fine. The first question that came out was, "Are you okay? Is your family okay?" And he said, "I want you not to worry. We're getting you out first flight that you are able to get out of Puerto Rico and into the States." They helped us relocate to Cleveland, lived there for 4 months until the island got back up to its feet. They cared for me so much that they went through all of that trouble to be able to relocate not only myself but my complete family and making sure that we were okay. That to me is just remarkable.
Wow, that's really powerful. The personal hardship that she faced there, that's really great that you guys were able to capture her telling that story.
Well, this was, she was telling a story of something that happened to her before the pandemic, but employees right now have so many stories like that. where they want to share, and they have so much real connection to sharing about how their culture has cared for them during the pandemic. Maybe their company provided them with more flexibility. Maybe their company provided them with more safety. Maybe they completely changed where and how they work to better meet their employees' needs. And so, although that was a story of, a natural disaster that happened pre-pandemic, there's lots of similar stories of empathy that employees, can share right now. So 2 things I would like to share about Erica's story is that, one, like we said, we interview everyone, we get great stories every time. But what's key to getting great stories from your employees, storytellers, is you have to facilitate the interview and facilitate the experience from start to finish. And that means, making sure that you are interviewing them. You're not just handing them an iPhone and just telling them, hey, just go tell us something. It's not going to be the same as when you have a facilitated experience through, expert story gatherers. And then once we capture the stories, we optimize the quality to honor them and make sure that, Erica looks good, she sounds good. And that way the story, we're not distracted by, sound issues and fuzzy quality and such. And then you can prioritize what they're saying to the candidate's needs and connect the story to your messaging. But I don't know if you can tell, but Erica's story was captured virtually. And that's something that we started doing at Stories Incorporated during the pandemic, when travel made, visiting work sites a little less common. And it became not our only way of capturing stories. So with Erica, we captured a lot of stories from members of the Philips USA and Latin America teams. And we sent them a HD pack that they could use, and we helped them set up the pack, and they had, all the different, tech components so that we could capture their stories told virtually from their homes.
Yeah. The quality was great of that story. So how does this get used when you've got content like this? Show us, how Philips is actually activating this content.
They're using it in lots of different ways. There's a lot happening here. So we captured stories from Erica and 11 of her colleagues across the North America and South America. They're using those stories on their career site. They're also using the individual stories in their team division and job postings. And so they can really personalize it. And that's a way to, make embed some culture and stories content in your, like, hey, we're hiring for this team. And you can give them a little eyes, a bird's eye view into that team culture as well. They also have all of the stories on their YouTube site, which makes it easy for the TA team to embed those stories in their communications with candidates. And then we also created some compilation videos for Philips and with multiple storytellers. And we created compilation videos for their EVP pillars. And those pillar videos are living on their internal communications and employee portal site.
Mm-hmm. And a best practice is you're using subtitles, because especially if you're, a lot of video at least starts to play, the user will start to watch it without audio. So you need to definitely have your subtitles there. All right. So I know you mentioned that this was virtual. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about virtual storytelling?
I think I just went too early on the virtual part. So this was my slide for that one.
Okay. All right. Well, so we have a couple more data points for you here towards the end of the material that we want to present. One is that employers promoted 47% more content about individual jobs at the beginning of 2022. I think this is again from Rally Inside data. And I think that's because everyone in our community is under such pressure to hire. And so we just saw this, this overwhelming number of jobs content, especially on social. But the content itself received 37% less engagement. So candidates are really tuning this kind of jobs content out. at the individual level. But we did see that if you promote jobs at the team level, so if you talk about engineering careers, nursing careers versus a specific role, that type of content, the engagement was up 70%. So help us, Jessica, to create content for teams that can help us attract talent to those team roles.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll just give you a little taste of this one so that we have a little bit of extra time if there's any questions. But here is an example of a great team story that we developed for AstraZeneca's BPD, which is their biopharmaceutical division. Their team needed to scale, and so we captured their stories.
All right.
What's kept me here for almost 20 years is the amazing people that I work with and the belief in the science that takes place.
It is very intellectually engaging to be a scientist here. The work that we do in BPD is instrumental in making sure that we can make our drug consistently every time, and that it's going to be okay going into a patient. It's going to be okay sitting on the shelf so that it's available for a patient. And if it weren't for all of the work that BPD does, the drugs would not be able to get on the market.
We want to learn every single.
So I know this video, we'll include the link to this video, I think, when we follow up with folks after the webinar, because there's a lot of great content in that. But what strikes me about that one, when you're talking about teams, is you can see people working in their environment. And that's got to be really powerful from a storytelling standpoint.
Absolutely. It puts you right there, and candidates can picture themselves working at the company. And so that's some sort of woo-woo psychological, woo-woo that you can do, because then if they get excited by the culture, they can really visualize themselves there.
Great. Well, I know that's probably all we have time for, because we're at 28 minutes after the hour. As I said, we'll share with everyone the recording from today's webinar, as well as the slides. And there's links in the slides to the videos that we've shown today. So it's always good when you guys are planning, your next project to capture employee stories, that you can see what good looks like. And you can show that to your leadership and say, this is the kind of thing that we really need to be doing at our company. However you're going to go about capturing those stories, you need to do it, because you can't just keep promoting, apply here, apply here. All right, so that is it. One final thing is that next week on Thursday, the 21st of April, we're hosting the Rally Awards ceremony, the live Rally Awards ceremony, where we are handing out the awards for 2022 and naming Recruitment Marketing Rising Star and Recruitment Marketer of the Year. So you can go to rallyawards.com and register for that live event. Thanks again, Jessica. It was great to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
So fun. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.